Okay, here are 3 people there, and we have 3 people on Zoom. And now we will start the speech. There we go. My name is Chandler Hartz, and today I'll be talking about prison education. And so, first, would you think there is any way to reduce crime and improve local economy? Yes, there is. It's through education. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about education in prisons. So, prisoners do not really have a high school diploma in education programs a lot. So, in prison, they are undereducated, and I believe that it can be improved. So, good programs are around that create opportunities for educations, and a few prisons do have on-site learning as well. And sometimes when they can't do on-site learning, if they don't have the classrooms or funding to do so, they do have mail-in opportunities to do high school work or even higher up learning as well. And rather than spending more to house the growing prison population, you could use more funding to educate these prisoners so there's a lower recidivism rate. And recidivism is a re-offending criminal that comes back to jail. And so here I have a chart showing the recidivism in college and prison. So if you have no college experience, there is a 60% chance of you going back to jail. And if you have some college, there's a 13% chance of you going back to jail. If you have a bachelor's, a 5.6%, and a master's is a 0% chance of going back to jail with a recidivism rate. So, I believe that federal and state prisons should work on the funding towards education systems and focus on the rehabilitation and to reduce recidivism. And from the site of American Progress, receiving a quality education continues to be out of reach for much of the prison population due to a lack of funding. And from the site of Prison Studies projects, the American Correctional Association of Indiana recidivism rate for GED completers is 20% lower than the several population, and the college completes are 44% lower. And so, as you can see, the higher the degree you earn, the lower the recidivism rate in that group. And now I would like to talk about education partners. So, how do we get colleges or community colleges involved in prisons? You need to see that prisoners need higher access to education to improve federal and state prisons. And a way to do that is getting prisoners with a GED at the least. So first, there are other programs to do that as well, which helps them get the prerequisites to get a higher learning degree. And a lot of state facilities that do not provide the on-site learning, the best option may be working on a degree through distance correspondence courses or online. And now, there's obvious benefits to education in prison systems. According to Prison Studies projects, gainful employment is on the defined characteristics of successful reentry, and no adjustment into society ultimately lowers the likelihood of an individual receding back to illegal activity. And there's a lot of that happening because when people get out of prison, they have the criminal record, and it's just hard for them to get a job. And then there's a whole nother section I'd like to speak of is entirely for coming out of the prison system and into the re-entering society. And it can be very difficult for ex-cons or reoffenders because of that criminal record. So while in college, in prison, you can get your education rolling and you can show for future employers that you have the integrity to go to school and learn something new and focus on your future outside of prison to better yourself as a person. And finding the right employer can be hard without that. And I think it's really important because there's a lot of prisoners that wouldn't want to do that, that don't have the courage or motivation to even try an education. So when they get out of prison, they're going to have a very hard time getting the job. While you, educated and clearly motivated to get a new job, will be a more likable candidate. And there are many degrees that prisoners have been found to enjoy that could align with their past, as in addiction recovery, counseling, and even healthcare. And some other affluent jobs that have been found to be beneficial to ex-cons has been self-starters more so. So freelancing, contracting, or being self-sufficient. So in conclusion, I believe that the current education in prisons is lacking. We need more funding to go to the proper places and less on preparing for a bigger population of inmates. And next, I believe that we need to partner with community colleges to get more education inside the prisons and help more courses be available to them, which would help everybody. And then the clear benefits from all these programs, to get people educated and to get you more ready to re-enter society and be more successful as a citizen. Thank you. And I also have another visual aid from Time Magazine. This is a classroom in an Eastern New York correctional facility. Just a teacher and prisoners in there learning. Thank you. There everybody is. Still here.